Hi everyone, it's Saturdays are for the boy. I'm back and better than ever, maybe. I'm not sure. At least probably the same. My hair is a little better, probably. Look at that nice cut. Ooh, very modern, very chic, very 2019. Um, I do a brief amateur vlog, I guess you could call it, on college football. I do it because I love the sport, because I'm passionate about it, because it's a place for me to sort of air my thoughts, even if they don't make sense a lot of times and nobody really listens um, or finds me. That's absolutely fine for me. I'm not in the business of getting some sort of sponsorship or getting some sort of distribution or anything like that. I'm not trying to push this on anyone. I just kind of want to share thoughts and feelings about college football. So if you have stumbled upon me, you know that I've been kind of going position group by position group, giving you my top five teams at each position group going into 2019, and also giving a couple random thoughts on a couple newsworthy tidbits that come out during the interim of these recording sessions on college football. So I am going to start with those little tidbits. First, the interview with Justin Ross from Clemson, where he said that some players might be tempted to go to the XFL if they can get paid right out of high school instead of going to college. Um, I understand why he's saying that. I even understand why some players might be tempted, but I look at this very similarly to college basketball in the NBA, where you've got that option to go play in Europe or Asia or something like that for a year and then go on to the NBA. But we've seen one, maybe two players in the past 10 years take that route. Um, the thing is, just like college basketball, college football will always get way more attention than the XFL. It's going to be a better product. It's going to have better fans, better traditions, better atmospheres, more eyeballs on you. So if you can make it in college football and if you can have that option to go play in front of 8,000 people at some random XFL game or 80,000 people at Camp Randall Stadium in Wisconsin, you're going to pick Camp Randall. I think. I would. And I really think that that's important. I also think that um, the recruiting pitches that these college programs are going to have, the facilities that they have, the support systems that they have, the coaches that they have, they're just better than what the XFL is going to be able to offer to these players. So while you might see one or two defections if the XFL really does push, I still think that the vast majority of players will decide that the NCAA, the college route, is better for them, which makes me happy. Um, the other thought that I wanted to mention is just spring games. I don't have any news from spring games that I want to share or talk about. Just my general thoughts on what spring games are and what they should mean. A lot of people take a ton of stock into them. I take zero stock into actual spring games. It's just a great opportunity for fans to get back to the stadiums, tailgate, do all that stuff. It's a fanfare event. It's a fair. It's a festival. It's not a football game. It's not anything important from that standpoint. So if you're going to Tuscaloosa or you're going to State College or you're going to Norman to watch your team play, please don't overreact. Just have some fun with your friends, your family. Have a couple beers, grill a couple burgers, do your tailgate, go to the game and just enjoy it. It's the perfect time of year to be outside in most places of the country. It's that 50 to 70 degrees, depending on where you are, 75, have fun. Please just have fun. Anyways, those are my thoughts about things. I'm now going to move on to my top five linebacking groups going into 2019. And I gave a little teaser on the last episode where I said that my team is going to show up on this list for the first time. So you'll find out who I root for and where I come from here in just a minute. Starting at number 5, this one's a little bit of surprise probably to a lot of people, and I'm going out there on a limb a little bit, but I'm picking the Arizona State Sun Devils as my number 5 linebacking core. These guys are young. They had Merlin Robinson and Darian Butler. Merlin Robinson was an all-everything 5-star recruit. Darian Butler came out of nowhere a little bit more, but they were both freshmen last year. Robinson, freshman All-American. He's got all the talent in the world. And in a league like the Pac-12, where I really do think that there's parity across a lot of schools, one standout unit can get you pretty far. This linebacking core for Arizona State might be able to do a lot of damage against the Utahs of the world, even the Arizonas of the world in their run game if they can go side to side. The UCLAs of the world as they still try to get things figured out. I think that this Arizona State linebacking core will give a spine to a team that might surprise a few people this year. Herm Edwards be damned. Number 4, here you go, drum roll. The Penn State Nittany Lions. That's my team. That's where I came from. Siblings all went there. I went there from Pennsylvania originally. I have them as my number 4 linebacking core in the country this year. Linebacker U is back, baby. Woo! All right. Micah Parsons was the number 1 linebacker recruit in the country in going into last year. He showed out as a freshman, led the team in tackles despite not starting the game. He's going to push by the end of his career for All-American status. He might even get there this year. The sky's the limit for this kid. Cam Brown is a senior who's been around for a long time. He had to play as a freshman when he was just a scrawny, skinny guy. Now he's full-fledged. He's a leader of the team. I fully expect him to have a senior year that will allow him to be remembered fondly by Penn State alums. And then finally in the middle, you got Jan Johnson, who is a former state wrestling champ, walked on the team and just sits there and does normal Penn State middle linebacker things, which is clog holes and get those tough tackles, knows where to be. Not the most athletically gifted guy on the team or on the field, but sound tackler, he will get to where he wants to be. Plus, they've got depth. They've got the top 2 linebackers in the country coming in this year as freshmen, 2 5-star guys in Brandon Smith and Lance Dixon. Linebacker U is completely back. I fully think that they are the number 4 linebacking core in the country, without bias in there. I might know a little bit more about the players, but that linebacking core is going to be good this year and hard to beat. Parsons is just a freak. If you don't know about him yet, and you're a college football fan, you will soon enough. He's taken number 11, which is LeVar Arrington's famous number at Penn State. So expect big things. All right, enough of that. Enough of my brown nosing my team. We're gonna go to number 3, and I told you I'm not biased about this stuff. You just found out where I'm from, and where I went to school. My number 3 team in linebacking core is Ohio State. As much as it pains me to say it, that linebacking core is going to be nasty. Pete Werner, Tuff Borland, the younger brother of Chris Borland, the great player at Wisconsin. Those guys are just as good as they get in terms of soundness, toughness. I mean, the kid's name is Tuff, T-U-F, for God's sakes. He's a great player. They also have Malik Harrison on that linebacking core. Combine that with that defensive line that I mentioned last week, and they might be the best front 7, or one of the best front 7s in college football this year. At number 2, I know this one's going to come as a shock, the Alabama Crimson Tide. They just plug and play at linebacker. They lost Mack Wilson this year, but they returned Dylan Moses. They returned Anthony Jennings. They returned Terrell Lewis. I mean, these guys have been around the block. they're just carbon copies of everybody else. Like, oh, Mac Wilson, oh, Reuben Foster, oh, all these guys that if you watched a game from 2011, you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. Like, I forgot he was on that team. I thought he was still on that team. That was that long ago, because they just roll in these linebackers like nothing else. And I don't expect that to change this year. This starting three is great. They've got experience. A lot of these guys were thrown into the fire 2 years ago when they had that injury-plagued season at linebacker. Played a lot last year, started some last year. Now they're back, juniors, seniors, and here we go, another just dominant Alabama linebacking core. And then number one, a team that and a unit that I honestly can't believe is still together, and that's the Miami Hurricanes. Shaq Quarterman, Michael Pinckney, Zach McLeod. They're all seniors. They all came on the field as freshmen together, and they pretty much, I think all three of them started as freshmen. I know Quarterman and Pinckney did, and somehow they're still there 4 years later. These guys are tackling machines. They've been around the block. I can't say enough good things. Miami, who knows what's going to happen with them this year? I have no predictions at this point for how Miami will look under Manny Diaz, but I know that Manny Diaz is a great defensive mind, and I know he's got the best linebacking core in the country. So that is a solid foundation for that team to build on. Those guys, I swear, they've been there so long. I don't know the Miami stats, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them end up 1, 2, 3 in career tackles at Miami. Sorry Ray Lewis, sorry Sean Taylor, all those players, all those great players from Miami. But yeah, I think Miami's linebacking core is by far right now the best in the country, the most experienced in the country, the surest thing going into 2019 as far as an elite linebacking core. So there you go. Now you know why the front seven is my favorite overall sort of position groupings on the field. Penn State, that's kind of our thing. I'm excited about these units, about these groups. I'll be back soon to talk defensive backs and anything else that comes up. In the meantime, thank you so much for finding me and listening to me. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.